Next up is Jorge Silva. Jorge is a humorist that specializes in devised work and solo performance. Jorge is a graduate of Cornell University's Advanced Undergraduate Theater Program and holds a dual degree in government. The native Chicagoan has presented his works with The Living Room, Pivot Arts, Solanathon, Junior Varsity, National Cool Shorts, and Scout and Birdie. Jorge is also part of the artistic staff of the Goodman Theater, serving as the producing coordinator, and is an affinity group leader for the Daniel Murphy Scholarship Fund. Everyone, Jorge Silva.
This is an excerpt from a piece I wrote when I moved back to Chicago. Reunited with the sights and smells of my hometown, I made some observations. If we were to categorize food by the ethnic origins of those who made it, rather than the regional origins, all food would be Mexican food. The wrap is the white man's burrito. I think relegating tacos to one day a week is offensive. I just call it Tuesday. If I was completely ignorant of Superman, and you told me there was an undocumented alien living in the middle of America, working on a farm and wearing flannel, I'd think you were talking about a Mexican dude. Latinidad as a cultural identity should not be measured by one's complexion, language, or any aspect of one's lifestyle. But if we must measure a Latinx person's commitment to the culture, it should be on a scale of 1 to Danny Greco. To clarify, yet again, Bolivia is a landlocked country in the middle of South America, not a Soviet satellite country. It's not Belarus, Bulgaria, and Bolivia. No, no. A message to my white allies. Leave my quinoa and avocados alone. You're making it more expensive for us. If you want to know if a business is owned by Mexicans, check to see if it is named after a Mexican state. It's like Guerrero Tires, Dentistry, Michoacán, Zacatecas, Accounting and Tax Solutions. And just because you put salsa on something, it does not make it south of the border. It means you're lazy and your food is gross. I'm from Chicago. Stop asking. Here's an idea if you want to dress up as Mexican for Halloween this year. Don't. Hello? My name? Thank you. My name is Jorge Silva. He, him, his. And I'm the producing coordinator for the Goodman Theater. I was invited to join the Mex Talks committee by Artistic Associate here at the Goodman, Henry Godinez, and I cannot be more honored to be a part of such a momentous occasion. When we were building this program, the question came up, who can we find that is younger, that is from Chicago, that is working as a professional in the arts, and has benefited from arts education? Now, I didn't throw my hat in the ring out of humility, but in retrospect, I realized that I'm perfect for this talk. My experience with the arts is truly inherited, passed on to me by my parents, Jorge and Yolanda Silva. They met here in Chicago, thank you. They met here in Chicago. My mother from Guanajuato, Mexico, and my father from La Paz, Bolivia. Thank you. And they brought with them the flags of the nations in the forms of food, music, affinities, and legacies representative of the Americas. And as an only child, they really invested all of their resources into providing me a well-rounded education. And this included doing sports, Boy Scouts, and classical music training. Now, music was particularly important because my father was a musician himself, playing Ande and folk music. In his day, he was the Eddie Vedder of panthers. When I moved along to my high school years, I had the opportunity to go to any private high school of my choice, thanks to the Daniel Murphy Scholarship Fund. And that not only opened doors here in Chicago, but also to every top-tier boarding school in the nation. And it was a difficult decision to leave home at the age of 14, but we eventually decided on St. Paul's School in Concord, New Hampshire. And it was there I got my first taste of the stage. Struggling to adapt to an environment that was unfamiliar with my experience as a mixed heritage Latino, it was the arts program at St. Paul's that really embraced this unique perspective and motivated me to see through every aspect of school life. If I wasn't passing my classes, I wasn't going to do a show. And that motivation carried over into Cornell University. But there was a slight problem. Theater was not a part of the original plan. Understandably, as soon as I had access to upward mobility, there was an expectation from my family that I would use this educational privilege to become something recognizably prestigious, a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, something that spelled financial security. When I graduated, I walked away with a dual degree in government and theater and made yet another difficult decision. I decided that I wanted to play pretend professionally. And it dawned on me, upon reflection, that my father had given up being an artist so he could become an engineer, so he could provide for me and my family to see me through these educational institutions, just for me to become an artist. After spending a couple of years in DC working as an actor and technician, I was really happy with my career choice. However, I found that the industry was and still is struggling to get past certain cliches and stereotypes regarding Mexicanidad. The number of times I was called in to play Latino thug number 3. And just to say, why not number 1? And nothing about this says thug. Everything about this says kid from the movie Up. I'm stout and ethically ambiguous. So when I returned to Chicago, I dedicated myself as a producer and a writer to rehabilitate these images of the maids, the criminals, the day laborers. And with representation at the forefront of public consciousness, holistic storytelling is more important than ever. And what I mean by holistic storytelling is having the product and the process reflect the time we live in, and also have all those communities represented at every step of the process. And working towards inclusivity is more important than ever to us in theater. As Mexicans, Mexican Americans, and Chicanos are demonized publicly by those in power, it is this priority that helps us to reclaim our narratives and to give voice to the voiceless. But we cannot fight oppression while also being its agents. And what I mean by that is, that means we have to recognize our internal prejudices as a community and stand against ableism, machismo, homophobia, transphobia, anti-blackness, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. This also means acknowledging that we are presenting this work tonight on land stolen from its original peoples, the Peoria, the Potawatomi, the Illinois, the Miami. This means supporting artwork that represents our various communities and affirming art as a political act. And that is how we create space for younger generations to explore this beautifully complicated identity known as Mexicanidad in whatever form it takes. And this is particularly important for me because I grew up in the city of Chicago feeling like the lights in the theater district did not shine for me. So I ask all of you to join me in making art accessible to everybody in the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
I am truly privileged to follow Lakin tonight, as it is those before us who have paved the path for me to even be here tonight. As I think about Jorge and Yolanda's struggles, they remind me that we are not defined by the road that lies ahead of us, but by the road that lies behind us. And it shows me that we will always be here. Thank you.